Alright everybody, we are back on it with the chopper, and some big changes are going to be made to this thing. Alright, so we're back to work on the chopper. You know, we tried to ride it and we failed because of our belt drive system. I didn't come up with this. This is how it was when I got it. And I just liked it because it kind of looks like a motorcycle primary. So I ordered the pulleys to do a dual belt setup on this. And then the changes we make to the motor plate and everything. And we will add a tensioner so we can actually put some real tension on this belt system and on this motor and push it forward. So the first thing that we're going to do, actually the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn some more lights on. Let's turn these lights on. There we go. That's better. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is I'm going to take a bunch of measurements and we're going to replace this engine plate. You can see there's some big old holes cut in this thing. You know, the slots that the motor are in and everything are not great, and I want to change some positioning here. I'm going to slide the engine this way a little bit. You can see we have all of this shaft on the engine still. So we can definitely move the engine this way a little bit and get it more centered in the bike. Right now, it's kind of centered on the spark plug, and I think it needs to be just a smidge over. Basically, it's not going to be much. It's going to be like 1/4 of an inch to a 1/2 inch, maybe like 3/8 of an inch or something. It's going to slide this way. Small adjustment. Same with this thing. This guy is going to slide that way, probably 1/4 of an inch as well. And then that will just kind of compact everything a little bit better and get it all centered a little bit better. And the way we're going to do this is, the other thing is this plate is like 1/8 of an inch, and it's really not. I mean, minimum I'd probably go like 3/16, but we have 1/4 inch over there, so we're going to use 1/4 inch plate. I'm going to take all the measurements and figure out where I want my slots and everything in it, and then we'll get that sucker cut out. And beyond that, in this episode we're going to, well, let's just start there. We got a ton. I'm going to break this whole thing down and fix a lot of these welds. That's another thing. Like this right here, I'm going to grind these out and re-weld them and make sure everything in here is good. I'm going to make sure that all these welds are good. I need to put a weld here. I need to make sure that these back here are good. Some of them look pretty bad. Cut this guy off of there, put a kickstand on there. Eventually we're going to do exhaust and intake, and we got a gas tank in the works that might not be on this episode. I got a headlight for it. We got a bunch of stuff. So let's get to work though. Let's get this motor plate. That's like the basis of the whole thing. We have to get that done before we can build anything else. So let's go ahead and start on that. Alright, so I've got my file done, or made, and we got our plate on here, and I've done everything I can to make this as perfect as possible. You know, positioning everything and running dry runs, and let's just cross our fingers and hope that this works, because I only have one of these pieces of plate, so let's do it. Just hit the plate, moved it. That's going to screw everything up. slightly a disaster. It can be, anything can be fixed. All right, we saved it, just barely. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good. The lines are actually really straight. It's the straightest I've gotten lines so far. It's the circles where it seems to really have a problem, like a big swooping circle. You know, these like straight lines, cuts really straight. Like it doesn't angle the cut like I've been having problems with. So it's pretty warm, so we gotta grab it with something, I guess. Woo! Let's get this thing tacked in. Alright, so we're back at it, and I'm working on my motor tensioner. So we got our plate welded in, it looks pretty good. Massive improvement from the old one. Let me grab the old one real quick. Yep, so we went from this to this. That's a big improvement. So I got these two bolts here. I need to take them back out actually because I need to grind or wire wheel off the coating, the zinc coating. And then we're going to have these two nuts on top of here. And I'm actually going to make a piece to tie this together so it's one solid thing. And then these just push and tension the motor. They basically just push the motor forward. And then I'll have these nylon lock nuts on there to keep it from backing back out and rattling loose. So, yeah, I'm going to get on that. I have to wire wheel off all of the coatings on things that I'm going to weld, and then put it all back together and make my little tie piece, and we'll get it put together. All right, so there it is. Now we have a way to push the motor forward and tension this belt here. I'm still waiting on my pulleys that I ordered, and then we can go forward with getting all that set up. I need to replace the bearings in this. There's some work that needs to be done on this thing, but we're getting there. We got our new engine plate. We got our engine tensioning system. Next, I think we might go after the exhaust. This exhaust, we're going to build the new exhaust for it, so we need to go ahead and take this off of here. We're probably going to use this flange that's on here, so we'll cut that flange off of there, chuck the rest of this in the garbage, and then we will build an exhaust for this. Alright, now we just need this flange off of here. I've always wanted to see what's inside one of these, just to see how they've got it working. It's got the spark arrestor that goes in the end here. Took that out of there. So let's open this thing up real quick and see if we can figure out what's going on in there. So we got this little round, whatever that is, that's holding it together. Should put it on the other side maybe. Let's see. Oh, okay. Interesting. Okay, this is only going to tell us half the story, unfortunately. Alright, so this is the exit here. This is the entrance. So we got some holes here, a baffle here. This tube is plugged up. So basically we have to take this piece out in order to even see what's going on here, which means we gotta cut the other side. So it goes into this side of the muffler. Ooh. This side gets pressurized with exhaust. Pushes it through here. There's a baffle here. Fills up this side of the exhaust. Pushes it through here into this little chamber that they've got here. And then the spark arrestor has to go through the spark arrestor. So that's really, really, really restrictive. So now you know. Alright, I need to take a die grinder to this, just get a little bit, the rest of the lip out of there. Alright, so this is what I'm going to build my exhaust out of. This is an old set of handlebars that's 1 inch. It's a good tubing size for this. These handlebars, they're just sitting on the shelf. I have nothing that runs 1 inch handlebars. They're just some generic, I think they're factory. I wonder if these are the ones that came off of my Wide Glide. I don't know. But I'm going to take these and I'm going to cut them up. And we're going to make them fit. And we're going to open this up a little bit so that fits better. Alright, so here's what we got going on. I got the motor slid all the way forward, and I got this slid all the way back. So if this comes out and clears this pulley, it should be fine. So if the motor slides back, it'll give us more clearance. If this ends up sliding forward, it'll give us more clearance, and they will end up being a little bit closer together. So as long as we have clearance over this pulley, we'll be fine. So my goal is to basically to build something like that. Like I want it to come up and over. I mean, this is all the angles are wrong. So let's see. Basically, I'm thinking something like that. But obviously it's got to go, I guess it's probably got to go, I don't know, it's got to, it needs to, yeah, we don't want it, I'm having a tough time this morning. So we don't want it to be, we want it to be as low as possible for leg clearance. The higher it comes up here, like we could build it like this, but you know, your butt's gonna get hot, your leg's gonna get hot. So we need to try and tuck it in as much as possible. So that means that we're gonna have to probably, yeah, I think run it like that, and then basically put a tight 90 on it coming out of here. But then the problem is that that's right in front of this bolt, so that is a problem. But if we can bring it down like this, and we can bring it in, then maybe. It's hard to say. So I think what I have to do is, I think I have to cut, basically just cut this all apart, but, which obviously I have to do that, but I want to, I don't want to make more cuts than I have to. So I've really got to think about this, about how I'm going to bring it down, and try to make as few cuts as possible. But like this, actually, I mean, I want to cut this piece out, so I can go ahead and I can just cut and cut here on these. Yeah, so I think that's the first thing. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this part off because that part is kind of unusable. And then, so I'll cut those off. That'll get us down to this piece. And I want to use this knurled piece. I think it'll look cool on here. It'll look really cool if it's down here. Which, if you look at that, I mean, that's kind of perfect. I mean, we got to turn this and everything, but if we can run that down there, and then I think I want to turn this out this way. See, that's kind of what I'm thinking as far as the tailpipe, and then basically kick it out. I think I could use one of these little 45s. Bam. But over here, we need to, oh yeah, so we need to basically, we need to use this piece. But this bend is not tight enough, really, for what we want to do. So I need to figure out, I might have another tight bend over there. I had one of these bends left. I'll try to remember to put a link in the video for this. It's just a little stainless bend that I got off of Amazon. A304 stainless. So, and those, I mean, they're perfect for building exhaust on these because it's a nice tight bend. So now the question is, like, do you want the exhaust to be even with the, do I want the exhaust to be even with this bottom tube, or do I want it to be just above it? I kind of feel like I want it to be just above it. It adds a little bit more character to it, but at the same time, it looks really clean with it being even with the tube, the bottom tube. So I need to think about that. I'm going to turn you guys on time lapse because I got a bunch of work to do, and just cutting things up and making it fit. Alright, so I had to go run and do something after I welded this up, and it's shifted. It's shifted more than I like it. Now it's I had a nice 1/4 inch gap between the frame and this, and I was gonna make a hanger, but something happened and it's just not where I like it. It's not where I want it to be. So I am going to just go ahead. I'm gonna cut it. I'm gonna modify it. I don't like it. I don't know what happened. Something shifted. I had some pretty good tacks on here, but something moved, so I'm trying to figure out where I'm gonna cut it. But I'm gonna get it fixed, and we're gonna build some sort of a hanger, and then this will be done. But it is not done, so let's keep working. All right. Okay, here we go. It took some finagling. Basically, I had to cut this whole piece out, redo it to get the right gap here. I made this, it's a bad spot to look at it. It's hard to tell, but it's pretty straight. So I made this piece right here. And actually that's pushing it out a little bit. I need to kind of see if I can bend it back in. But so I made this little guy here, and I'm gonna put a clamp around it. So that will stiffen this up and hopefully keep it from breaking at one of the joints. But I'm excited. I want to see what this thing sounds like. Oh, jeez. Shit over. Okay. Let's see what this thing sounds like. It's probably not going to run that great, considering it hasn't been rejetted, but it still has a stock air box on it, so that might save us. But let's see here. Gas on, choke on. Alright, we still got the governor and all that junk, so I need to bend that a little bit so I can hopefully bring it back in just a smidge. But yeah, definitely has a room to go in. But I like it. It sounds good. It's not that loud. I thought it was gonna be louder, but it's good. I am happy with that. Well, like I said, we'll put a clamp around there. I'm gonna try and tweak that to get this to go in just a little bit. It's got about 1/8 of an inch if we can bend it right. And then we'll be done with the exhaust, or we are done with the exhaust. What's next? Intake. So we're gonna go ahead. Next thing we're gonna do is get this stock carb off here. Eventually we're gonna delete the governor, but we got a different carb for it, and I'll show you that to you guys in a minute when we get started on that. Alright, so here's what I got for the carb. I believe it's a VM22, like a knockoff one. I'll get you guys a link down below. It's pretty basic. You know, this isn't going to be a performance motor. We are going to bust it apart at some point and take the governor out of it, but for right now we're just going to bypass it to get this on here to see how it fits and see if we need to make any modifications to it, and just to see how it runs and get it running and see how it sounds and everything. So I'm working on taking this carb off, and we'll get this guy on here. I don't know what I'm going to have to do with this fuel line, but I'm going to try and pinch it off for now. But I'm going to go ahead and get this installed, and then I'll show you guys what it looks like. Alright, so we got the carb manifold. You saw that whole thing. It is very close to this jack shaft, but clearance is clearance. So we're going to go ahead and see if this thing runs. I just quickly threw the filter on there with the line that came in the kit, and that got me fuel. I got a new throttle housing and a cable and these cool brown grips, and let's just see if this thing runs. It's probably, they send you a whole bag of I was saying that it's probably going to be lean because they send you all these jets, and I didn't bother to check what jet's in there. It's probably a tiny one. Let's just see if it even runs. Well, it runs. See that? It runs. It ran really good, actually. I don't really know. You can't, there's no drive train on this, so I didn't want to like super rev it up. So we won't really know until we actually try to ride it, but I mean, it's close enough that it actually runs. It started on choke, turned the choke off. This was way up, so it just needed a little blip of the throttle, and she got going. That's pretty much it for tonight. Made some good strides today. I don't know what's next. I got to look at everything, but we're getting close to riding this thing again. All right, here we go. We are back at it on this thing. I finally got my pulleys are on the other side, but I got the brakes buttoned up. We got the carb. We got the throttle cable zip tied up for now. This is just going to be I'm hoping to ride this thing, but it's just going to be a test ride. We still got our goofy long bolt. I still got to go get that bolt, but we got our pulleys finally. 2 brand new V-belt pulleys, both dual 2.5-inch pulleys. Hoping this works. If this doesn't work, we probably need to go to bigger pulleys, which means I might have to change my pipe up. So I'm hoping that this works. We got 2 pulleys. We got our tensioner. If this doesn't work, then I'll probably start by just tensioning this more. But so far, let me show you what we got, and I think it's going to work. Let's see. Let me put you on this tripod for a second, and we'll fire it up, and we'll see how much grip we got. All right. Okay, choke on. Alright, so it's got enough grip to do that, so I'm somewhat confident that this is going to work. Now, that's without my 220 pounds on it. So let's go ahead and let's just get this thing down, take it for a ride. I'm excited. I don't know how this carb is going to run because obviously I told you guys, you know, we don't have the jetting figured out. So this is just another test run. Hopefully it runs good enough to get us down the road. We'll tune it if we need to, but I don't have a ton of time today, so let's get it down off the table, take it for a ride. Gotta undo my motorcycle stand here. Okay. Whew. Feels a little bit heavier than it was. Okay. Once again, this bike, very sketchy in the gravel, especially on my driveway, so gotta take it easy going down the driveway. I need to reclock this pull cord here. Alright, this thing is too lean, I can tell. It's not even taking throttle. It'll run on the choke. I don't know why I didn't do this to begin with, but I gotta go ahead and swap the main jet in this thing, which means I'm gonna have to probably pulling the intake manifold off of the motor. Probably be the quickest. Pull that out, turn it, pull the bowl off, go up a few jet sizes, and then see if it fixes it. But I'm just going to do that off camera, and I'll get back to you guys when this thing actually runs right. Alright, so it's the next day, and I've got this thing tuned up a little bit, changed out the jets, and changed some adjustments on the carb. And I think it's ready to ride. Worked out a couple of kinks, tightened up the belt a little bit more, you know, stuff like that. So, first test ride. Let's hope it goes well. I gotta leave and pick up my son soon, so I can't be wrecking this thing. Or going too far, where if it breaks down, I can't get back. So, we're just gonna go down the street and back. Alright, this is the sketchiest part. Try to stay to the smooth part of the driveway. Okay. I just lost something. Got a bolt here. Fell in my pant. What's this from? I think that just came out of the back of this throttle here. Still not running quite right. But it'll do. Hard throttle problem that I haven't quite figured out yet. Brake works really good. Alright, let's see if we can go up the driveway. Yeah, buddy. Whoa! Coming in hot. Woo! We survived. Wowza. Okay. Whew. That was a success. Steering, I need to actually loosen this bolt up because I think my problem is the steering isn't loose. So like you turn it and it doesn't want to just recenter itself. So we gotta do something about that. Other than that, it's working. It's got a really like right off of barely part throttle problem. And I'm not exactly sure what that is yet, but we'll get it figured out. The real test is, you know, it ran and it drove and it works. And the main thing is we have enough grip on our belt to actually move us, our belts. So that's a plus. So we got a ton more work to do. We're gonna end up repositioning this fender. We're gonna build a tank. We're gonna bust the whole thing down once we get the tank fabricated and this fixed, and re-weld the entire frame. You can see the boogery welds right here especially, but they're all over the place. So obviously we got this one done. Good. Actually, I need to weld on the underside still. Motor plate's good, but like back here it's nasty. Back here it's bad. All of this we're gonna end up redoing anyways. Head tube right here, you know, pretty much everything. And even on the fork, I think I'll probably come in and redo this and fix it up. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. I'm super happy that that finally worked out. It was a super big bummer that we tried it last time and it wouldn't work for us. So super happy with that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for all the rest of the stuff on this bike. Probably be 1 more, 2 more episodes. But thank you guys very much for watching. Please smash the like button, hit the subscribe, hit the bell to get notified of future videos coming out from DJ's Hot Rod and Fab. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.